transforming lives as we love, serve, and remember who we are.
One heart, one mind, one soul at a time.
Hello and welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. I'm Paula Mandella, and this is Soul Light Connection, and we want you to know you're in the right place at the right time. Right, Ann?
That's right, just where you are meant to be. And we want you to sing along with us because we know and you know your soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Yeah, your soul is welcome. Our soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. Right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Put your hands together. My soul is welcome here. Tell them about it, Larry. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Well, good morning, and welcome to the Spiritual Life Center experience that we bring to you wherever you might be on the planet today. We're grateful for your presence. We're grateful for your consciousness. As we remind one another, we are all interconnected. We are one in the Spirit. We have people across the planet who view our services. So each week, I acknowledge at least one of the places outside the United States where people tune in to our program. And today, I'd like to acknowledge our friends in Bangladesh. Thank you for connecting with us, and know that you are blessed and a wonderful blessing to our planet. At this time, let's take a few moments to commune with the presence of pure spirit. And we do so in prayer, which is the language of spirit, and gives us an opportunity to affirm the realization of that oneness we talked about, that we all experience with each of us across the planet, as well as the presence of God itself. So let us turn within now. Divine presence, the qualities of God that are everywhere and most importantly, right where we are. We're grateful to be the vessels and vehicles of the qualities of this spiritual essence. The qualities of love and peace and joy and wisdom and health and wholeness and vitality and divine and perfect right action. As we come under its government and guidance, life begins to unfold with ease and grace. So we're grateful, we're thankful to be the vessels and vehicles of this presence that is beyond words but is so real in this world and in our life. We do so to such a degree that we can say without a doubt that when you see me, you see the presence that sent me. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. So we're grateful for your presence. We're grateful for your consciousness, as I said. And each week we affirm our mission of Spiritual Life Center, which is we transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so as we practice these 5 basic universal principles. 1, God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action. As I mentioned last week, each year between January 30th and April the 4th, Spiritual Life Center joins in with spiritual communities around the world, as well as other like-minded organizations and individuals, for the Season for Nonviolence. This event is inspired by the memorial anniversaries of Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and thus the dates of January 30th and April the 4th. Now, the purpose of the Season for Nonviolence is to create an awareness of nonviolent principles as well as practices as a powerful way to heal, to transform, and empower our lives and our communities. And we demonstrate that every person can move the world in the direction of peace through their daily nonviolent choice and action. Each week during the Season for Nonviolence, an individual from Spiritual Life Center does a reading on a principle that supports the purpose of this event. And today, our reading is from a longtime member and sacred server at Spiritual Life Center, Paul Sanchez. Welcome, Paul.
Today, I write a loving note to someone else. I arise this morning and see the beauty in this day. I bring to mind someone that I care about. I remember that I am loving and I am loved. I appreciate the richness of my relationships and see the potential of the day inviting me to express life and love. So I make time to sit down, take out my pen, and write a note expressing my gratitude and joy. These words I share bring delight to another. As I share this message of love and peace with someone else, I share it with myself. As I enrich another person's life, I enrich my own. Thank you, God, that I am loving and I am loved. Thank you for loving thoughts and words. Today, I share by writing a loving note to someone else. So here's my note to you. It's a different kind of love letter. It was about a year ago, the first day of the COVID-19 stay-in-place order. I went shopping for the long haul, looking for dried beans, canned foods, drinking water. Gone, all gone. I could see the fear in the eyes of people at the market. The panic ensued with long lines, empty shelves, and I thought the loving thing to do was to take on all the pain, the fear, the anxiety of the entire planet. Maybe I could pray and meditate to help the situation. The burden of all those collective shadows was heavy, and I began hearing my own internal dialogue nagging at me. Those voices are many and very loud. I found my peace in self-love and self-care. Nature walks, eating healthy, that was the easy stuff. The hard stuff was being okay with being alone, isolated, afraid. Is that you too? Perhaps, just like me, you feel surrounded by 4 walls closing in. Each direction you look is a wall ricocheting the emptiness you feel inside. Distractions, resistance, repression, denial, they only delay the pain. Don't fear, my friend. The loneliness is not here to hurt you. This invisible guest, loneliness, walks beside us as a gift. When we are lonely, it is our own love we are lonely for. It invites you to go within to your deepest self, the self that cries out to be loved. Eckhart Tolle says, life is not meant to make you happy. It is meant to make you conscious. Loneliness is a common symptom of being human and alive, and all is just passing by if we allow it. It is in this spirit, my friend, that I lovingly invite you to let go of resistance and allow this visitor called loneliness guide you through the door so you can meet that deepest self and you get to love every part of you that has been afraid to come alive.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Deborah Phillips, and here's what's happening at SLC. Why would anybody ever say, never meet your heroes? This week on Discovering Spirit Within, Reverend Donna Apodoni and I engage in a deep discussion about how we project a lot of our hopes and dreams on other people and then end up disappointed. This leads to the awareness that we are always projecting, and that projection is our picture of our personal world. And by becoming aware of when and what we are projecting, we can build a happier and more fulfilling life. Discovering Spirit Within premieres each Wednesday on your favorite podcast app.
So how does it go? Bonnie? Yon, yon, he bangs, and by yon, Bonnie brings. I love the words. Oh, is that the same key we're all supposed to be playing?
Yeah.
No, different keys.
Different keys.
Different keys.
Okay.
More colorful.
Okay. What is that? Do you see that?
Oh my God.
Who is that? Oh, is that an audience out there? Oh, you know what? I think we're supposed to tell you something. We're getting ready for a concert called Celtic Crossing on March 19th. So we need you to be there because we've got some stuff to share.
Top of the morning to you, SLC. I'm J.G. Gonzalez, chair of the SLC Abundant Community Team, and we want to invite you to watch the Celtic Crossing concert with us in a Zoom watch party. Here's what you and your friends need to do. First, go to slcworld.org, click on the Events tab, choose Celtic Crossing Concert, scroll down to register, and on the registration page, make sure where it says, tell us how you plan to watch the concert. Find and click on the box for the Zoom Watch Party link. Grab your beer, brats, and your best St. Paddy's Day decorations. We will have prizes for the best in show and runner-up. Don't forget, The party starts early, 6:30, a half hour before the concert premieres at 7. So come party with your SLC family and friends and dance throughout the concert. And then stay after the concert when the musicians will join us for a meet and greet. See you there.
Do you want to explore or deepen your own prayer practice? If so, join Sherry Rain for Harnessing the Power of Prayer for 4 weeks in April. This class can be taken for personal growth or as a foundational requirement for becoming a new prayer chaplain. You can come together virtually or in person to discover and connect with prayer by exploring the role of prayer in your life, aligning your prayers with spirit, examining what may be blocking you, discovering ways to bring more prayer into your life, or cultivating a personal prayer practice. Harnessing the Power of Prayer is offered on 4 consecutive Tuesday nights starting on April 16th, and they run from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Again, they will be live and via Zoom, and you can register for this class on our website. On Saturday, April 10th, Karen Drucker will offer Clear Your Clutter, Change Your Life. In this Saturday Zoom workshop, Karen will guide you on a process with songs, discussion, laughter, and small groups sharing about where you might be stuck with clutter in your physical, mental, and spiritual space. And you will use the techniques on how to release by stepping out of the Zoom workshop to actually clear part of your clutter. This workshop runs from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be the aforementioned clear clutter breaks and a lunch break. You can register for this amazing experience with Karen Drucker on our website. And our Board of Trustees is always working for our highest good. Kim McLaughlin, Vice President, is with us today with their monthly update.
Hi, everyone. This is Kim McLaughlin. I am the Vice President on the Board of Trustees here at Spiritual Life Center. And I'm here with a question. Are you ready to serve? Are you ready to serve SLC in a bigger way? Because I have an option for you. We are now taking applications for Board of Trustees, and we have a couple of openings. So I first recommend, if you're thinking about being a Board of Trustee, that you start with that internal process, with that prayer, with that meditation, to really know if this is your time to serve and is this your time to be on the board. And if it is, then I suggest the next step you take is to look at our website, slcworld.org, and look at the frequently asked questions, look at the job description, and look at the application to see if it continues to be a fit for you. And I encourage you to fill out that application and turn it in, but you've got to have it turned in by noon on March the 26th, because that is the last day to put in your application for Board of Trustee. If you have more questions and you need more answers, feel free to give us an email at board@slcworld.org, and we'll be happy to answer any question that you have. I really look forward to having new trustees working with us and getting to know some of you more on the board. Namaste.
Thank you, Kim, for all that you contribute to SLC. We love to greet our newcomers. And while we cannot greet you in person, we want you to know that we are very happy that you are with us as you walk your unique path. You can learn more about us by going to slcworld.org/connect. When you fill out the online card, you can choose to receive our weekly message, find opportunities for connecting with our prayer chaplains and online small groups. You can also ask to be notified of greater ways to connect with us virtually as we expand our online community. And speaking of connecting, you can find all the details for the happenings at SLC by simply going to our website, slcworld.org. Thank you for joining us today. We are honored to be with you in spirit.
Holy God, move
We believe there is tremendous power in the spoken word. So if it feels comfortable for you, please speak aloud our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet.
I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God, I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory of God, I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created, in the light, the love, and the glory. In the light, the love, and the glory, I am in the love, and the glory. In the light, in the love, and the glory. In the light, in the love, and the glory,
In the light, take a deep breath and slowly exhale. In the next cycle of breaths, allow your body to relax. Drop your shoulders. Relax your eyelids. As you breathe naturally, allow your consciousness to float up and away into a light daydream. In this daydream, you are looking at the palm of your hands. You see the fingers, maybe the tips of fingernails, maybe some little scars or other marks. And then you look at the lines in your palms. The longer you gaze at your hand, the more detail you begin to see. Like a zoom lens in a movie scene, you come in closer and closer until the cells in your hand are magnified, and you find yourself surrounded by the millions of cells that make up that one part of your hand. The cells are full of life and light. You can feel their energy. You hear them humming as they live their lives. And now you pick a cell and zoom right through the molecules into the atoms that make up that cell. They are active, vibrant, intelligent, conscious. The energy at this level is beyond description. It is so pure that it feels as if you have fallen directly into the divine. As you float and drift in this incredible energy, something interesting happens. The scene changes. It is like you have turned around and are looking at the whole of creation from the inside. Everywhere around you, atoms and subatomic particles vibrate and shine and hum. They are life itself. They are consciousness. And turn around again now and zoom back out. Now you start to see the patterns made by these atoms, the patterns of the world in which you live. Your vision clears, and now you see people, animals, plants, buildings, even the very air, as magnificent groupings of conscious atoms, all twinkling in the same light and love. You are at once an observer and participant in the divine soup of life. You experience yourself as you really are, a soul made up of the divine energy we call atoms. You are conscious. You twinkle. You tune into your inner power as you float in the silence. You have the knowing that you are part of a much greater whole that relies on your power to do its part. With gratitude for this quantum experience, take a breath and begin to slowly zoom out. The physical world begins to coalesce to put its skin back on. As it resolves into the room you are sitting in, you return to awareness and receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, there is nowhere that God is not. Every particle that creates this universe is imbued with the original divine idea, and your soul is an integral part of that divine idea. There is so much more inside you than you can realize, but you can discover it when you choose. Just take the time to stop and look within. Remember this, always.
Why get here? What now? Where do I go? I'm so scared, life ever changing, and the pain, will it ever go? Please let me breathe, I just wanna know the answer to why. Every day I breathe, I just wanna know the answer to why. In time, I will know the answer. Right now, I need to find my way to let go of all of my secrets and embrace the sun on my face. Today I'm gonna breathe. Today I'm gonna know the answer to why. Every day I breathe, I just wanna know the answer to why. So many questions I have, so many prayers left unanswered. Always a blessing, still I am guessing, finding my way through the dark. Every day I breathe, I just wanna know the answer to why. Every day I breathe, I just wanna know the answer to why. Every day I breathe, I just wanna know the answer to why. Every day I breathe, I just wanna know the answer to why. Oh, everything changes. Oh, I wanna know why. Oh, everything changes. Oh, everything changes. Every day I breathe, I just wanna know the answer to why.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Frank Castro-Wehr, and I am a ministerial student at Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute, going to graduate and be ordained this coming June. And so this last year, in September through about January, I was an intern here at Spiritual Life Center. And really grateful, Reverend James asked me to step in and give the talk today as part of my internship, and I just really enjoy being here with you. And the talk today we've titled, Why Me? Or why do bad things seem to happen to good people? And this is a question that, especially for Unity people, is especially intriguing. I mean, our very first Unity principle is there's just one presence, and this energy is everywhere. This presence, this power, this divine essence is in all things at all times and everywhere. And we say that presence is good. So if it's everywhere and it's good, then what about this perception of things that are bad, or these things that are awful that are happening to people? There's even a whole part of theological discussion called theodicy. And this theodicy is the question that has sort of challenged people throughout centuries of why do things happen to seemingly good people that seem so awful? I mean, how do you make sense of that? So I'm going to look at that question from two ways and offer some thoughts about this larger question. And it's not only a question about why me, but also why us. I saw something in the online newspaper that just had the top of the article was, why us? And it was a question that the people in the service industry, especially people who through the pandemic have especially had a hard time with their with financial issues because of the loss of businesses. And they're saying, why us? Other people haven't gone through this. Why us? Why us? Why me? So the first thing I want to look at is a piece of poetry, a story that comes from the Hebrew scripture, or we might say the Old Testament of the Bible. And it's a story of a character named Job. And this is sort of a classical story about someone who suffers and tries to look at the question of why. Why does Job suffer? And then secondly, I want to take a look at something from natural sciences, some breakthrough of our understanding of life and how life unfolds for us from contemporary science. So first, let's look at this beautiful piece of literature, really poetic literature, that comes from this Hebrew scripture, the story of Job. And if you're looking for it, it's the story right before the Psalms in the Old Testament, or Hebrew scripture. And Job basically has 4 parts. Just to recap this story, because it's fascinating. The first part is, challenges and this sense of things can come into the world and really upset our lives is allowed by Yahweh, this divine essence that was understood by the Hebrews, this Yahweh, divine God, is allowing these challenges and these issues to come into life. And our protagonist in the story, Job, experiences these awful things. First off, there was these series of events that sort of wiped out all his animals and wiped out essentially his fortune and his way of making a living. And not only was he then economically pretty much destitute and challenged, along comes a terrible illness that visited his life. And it seems like he's breaking out in sores and boils, and he's just miserably sick. And it says he's sitting in a pile of ashes. I think he's just lamenting his bad fortune. And so that's how the story starts. Our hero Job just really saying, why me? So along comes 3 friends. This is the second part. Friends. And what do? They supposedly are trying to comfort Job, but really they just keep needling him. Well, hey, Job, if all this has happened to you, it must be your fault, man. I mean, what did you do to deserve this? Somewhere along the line, your life hasn't measured up, and now there's some kind of divine punishment or retribution. And Job's saying, no, I've lived a good life. I've obeyed the laws. I've taken care of my family. I've done everything I was supposed to do. It doesn't make sense. What's wrong with Yahweh? This is unfair. Why am I being punished? It's just not right. And for many chapters in this poem, they go back and forth and trying to figure out, looking at things in the external world about what did you do that has an exact consequence that allowed you to get so sick or allowed you to be in such economic problems. And they're basically blaming him, some friends, right? Even in unity, we sometimes have the same kind of conundrum. I mean, we have this sense of how we think, and the way we think will show up and manifest in the world because of our thinking. And so there's a little bit of what we know as metaphysical malpractice, where we look at someone we care about or love, and they're going through a challenging time, and we think, well, you need to maybe change your consciousness or change your thinking. Something that you're doing is the cause of your problem. And that's just so uncompassionate. It so lacks that sense of empathy that you would expect a friend to give. Instead of sitting with someone and sitting with them in the mystery and unfolding of what these issues are, we start getting potentially judgmental to them. So these friends go through this whole part of blaming Job, and he's defending himself. And finally, the third part. A character walks into the story, and his name's Elihu. Now, Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity, he writes that this Elihu is actually, we should look at this as the spirit of the divine who's visiting the story and inserting itself into the story as sort of an interpreter of what these events are. And this Elihu character says, stop. What kind of friends are you? Where's your compassion? How are you helping Job through this issue? And why do you all think you know so much and you can figure it all out rationally about what's going on in this dynamic of Job's life? It is way beyond you to figure this out. There is a mystery unfolding, and in Job's life, you need to be compassionate with him and help him walk his journey as this series of events unfolds for him. So stop. And in that breakthrough, Job is able to stop and listen. And finally, and this is amazing for a piece of literature from 300 BCE or even older, the very divine essence, Yahweh, appears to Job, actually shows up and speaks to Job. And the literature of the time and other traditions around the globe don't have the divine essence actually communicating and being part of the human life like this Yahweh does. And it says that this Yahweh divine essence speaks to Job in the eye of a storm. I lived in Houston for a while, or south of Houston on the Gulf Coast. And I experienced once, I was at a chemical plant and the hurricane went over. We sat there to sort of batten down the hatches as the hurricane went by. And I was there in that eye of the storm. There was a moment after the windows were shaking and the wind was howling. All of a sudden it was absolutely quiet, absolutely still. And we walked outside and we were astonished at just how absolutely quiet it was. It makes me think of that sense that this Yahweh, this divine essence, speaks in the eye of the storm. It's in that stillness, in that quiet, in that solitude, in that place we know in our meditation, in that place we know when we go to our hearts in the silence. And even though all the activity and energy of our world might be going on around us and there's a lot going on, still, each of us has that ability to go find ourselves in the eye of the storm, in that center point, in that place of connection with our true inner divine self, that eye of the storm, that quiet place, and we can connect. And it's in that place that this Yahweh divine essence says, you're trying to make sense of all this, but what I ask you to do is connect with me. Connect. Hear my voice. And then Job says this beautiful piece to the poem. I read this one piece. He says, I'm speechless and I'm in awe. Now all my words fail me. I should have never opened my mouth. I've talked way too much, way too much. Now I'm ready to shut up. And now I'm ready to listen. And so at the end of this whole story, after trying to figure out all that's going on and why is this happening to Job, the solution in this story is Job needed to find his center point and listen, and to make sense of this connection with the divine. And there's an affirmation I heard that I love, and this affirmation makes so much sense in this, is no matter what is happening, say, in my financial issues or challenges, my connection to my inner self is unshakable and it's ever present. Or no matter what's happening around me, or seemingly these illnesses or something that might be challenging me physically, still my connection to my higher self is unshakable, and it's ever present. It's always there. And in our intimate relationships with our partners or our spouses or in our communities, still we could say our connection to source energy, to the divine presence itself, is unshakable, and it's ever present. It's always there for us, and it's unshakable. And what Job discovers in the end is, despite all these things that happened, he was connected. He recognized and realized his connection. And in that, the end of the story ends with some things were restored. Ultimately, his health was restored. Ultimately, his family was restored. Ultimately, things did work out. But in the solution of all this stuff about why, there was never an answer of why exactly. The answer from the divine source was listen, connect, listen. And that was part of his transformation. So let me lay another layer on top of this beautiful piece of Job, this ancient literature, put that aside for a second. And I want to layer onto that a story that comes from biology. And this is a story, I think we've all known this story since we were children. And it's the story of the transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly. And what scientists have found, and I've read this from multiple sources. I read some stuff from Deepak Chopra and Barbara Marx Hubbard and from scientific information. But there's this thing called imaginal cells or imaginal discs. I've read it called both. And in the caterpillar, there comes a point where he's reaching, the caterpillar reaches the end of its existence, and its body actually starts to get mushy and to lose its solidity, and it builds this cocoon and it crawls in, and it actually experiences an entire transformation. And from the perspective of this caterpillar, it's like falling apart. And it may want to resist that and say, I can't go into this cocoon time. I can't go through this process. It's totally frightening. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no sense of what's going to be on the other side. And yet there's these peace in the caterpillar, this imaginal cells, and these cells start working together. And the caterpillar immune system fights these, like, go away. What are you? This is strange. This is unusual. You shouldn't be here. You're messing with my caterpillarness. And yet these imaginal cells are able to fight off this immune response of the caterpillar, and they come together and they start to grow, and they cause the actual DNA of this caterpillar to express itself as a new entity, the butterfly. And it uses the sort of the goo and the mush of this dissolving caterpillar to transport to the other side to be this butterfly. And it comes out of the cocoon. It doesn't know yet all that it can do or what it's about. It sits in the sun and it dries off, and then it's ready to fly. You know, I think about butterflies. You know, my wife and I have gone to Costa Rica one time just to look at the monarchs, just to look at these different blue morphs, I guess, these butterflies that are flying around through the rainforest. And it was so exciting. I mean, we travel places. We go to the coast. We go places just to see butterflies. They're so amazing. I don't know how many of us travel to go see caterpillars. I mean, maybe some people do. But it's just this transformational energy, these imaginal cells that are inherent to the nature of the caterpillar and then inherent to the nature of the butterfly. And this amazing transformation. And we, as people, as human beings, we have the same innate energy and consciousness in our ability to transform. Maybe in the butterfly, it's this imaginal cells, or we could think of this energy of the imagination. But we have so much more as humans at our disposal, these energies, these powers to support us in our transformation when even it looks like things are going in a not such a positive way, like the caterpillar dissolving. We have strength, and we have imagination, and we have faith, and we have wisdom, and we have the power of understanding, and we have the power of love, and the power of life, and the power of renunciation. We have all these various powers, even more so than a caterpillar, that we can call upon and support our transformation from times that seem to be where we're dissolving and we're being challenged and things aren't going so well, and then transport ourselves in this new time of a new possibility, of a new awakening, of a new opportunity to move on to something else. And it's not only true for just me as an individual, but it's also true for our communities and our relationships and our partnerships and our countries and our world, that we all have this sense of this ever connection to our higher selves, our divine essence that can help us transform. It's unshakable, and it's always present, and it's always there to help us move forward to new energies and to new possibilities. And so I want to end with a poem by the Sufi poet Rumi that I think captures this sense of what do we do when things look like they're not going so well, and why is this happening to me? And we want to maybe transform, but not only transform once. I mean, as people, it's not just caterpillar to butterfly. We have opportunities to transform in all sorts of ways and deal with potential challenges and transform all the time. I had a friend that said to me the other day, I said, "How's it going?" And he said, "Well, it's going great. I'm going through a growth period. And so lots of new things are happening. But you know how growth periods go. They're challenging and they're difficult, but they allow for the possibility of this transformation." So ending on this poem that the Sufi mystic Rumi said, and it goes like this. "When I die, I will soar with the angels. And when I die to the angels, what I shall become, we cannot imagine." blessings on your journey, blessings on this forever transformational process, blessings on staying with the mystery and knowing this presence, this process, this power is always here for us. Our connection to our higher self is unshakable, and it is always present. Peace, blessings.
Thank you for being part of our service today, in which Frank helped us answer the question, why is this happening to me? And he delved into, among other things, the story of Job to give us an insightful response to that question. Next Sunday, I'll be here to speak on the topic, the journey of self-discovery. And I'll address the process of what we must do to go through and grow through in order to be what we have never been before. I'd like to remind you that you can join Spiritual Life Center friends and members of Spiritual Life Center for a virtual courtyard chat on Zoom at 10:15 Pacific Standard Time. The link to the Spiritual Courtyard is in the description, so go and meet there and chat a little bit. Right now, this is your opportunity to help Spiritual Life Center continue to provide these spiritual experiences for you. Not just our Sunday experiences, but also whatever takes place throughout the week, which includes our podcasts, our prayer and meditation classes, and other transformational experiences that take place throughout the week. So I invite you to support Spiritual Life Center with your donation, with your gift, and to give what you can. It makes a huge difference for our community and ultimately our world. You can give by texting SLC Love to 44321. That's SLC Love to 44321. Or go to our website, slcworld.org, and click the Donate tab to give in other ways, including by mail. And now I invite you to join in as we radiate and speak aloud or quietly our offertory blessing. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Life is like a good book. You live in it page by page. The story of your journey unfolding day by day. Sometimes you see the magic when all the pieces fit. Sometimes you sit there wondering who signed me up for this. There are questions we can't answer. mystery. Set your mind and spirit free. Trust the mystery. Be who you are born to be. Trust the mystery. Oh, the only choice that I can see is you got to trust the mystery. Trust the mystery. Trust the mystery. Trust the mystery.
And now, let us join together and say our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Spiritual Life Center, transforming lives as we love, serve, and remember who we are.
One heart,
One
mind,
one soul at a time.
Everybody,
Oh God, move in me. Yeehaw.
come and listen to the story about a man named Jed. The poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. Then one day he was shooting at some food, and up from the ground came a bubbling crude.
Oil, that is black gold, Texas tea.
Strap your grandma on the roof in a rocking chair. We got that out of our system.